Did I
فرق بين
Yes, so is it time to do my question or no?
Go ahead, Henry.
I just want to be respectful for your time.
Yeah, you're good, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I hear the earlier conversation. You guys were talking about the imams piece on them, that they don't make mistakes, right? So my question is, there is a chapter in the Quran, chapter 80. I will read in Arabic really quick. I will read just the first two verses. عبس وتولى أن جاءه الأعمى. In English, the Prophet frowned and turned his face because the blind man came to him. So
Astaghfirullah,
Astaghfirullah.
Rabbi.
no, this is in the Quran. This
No,
is in the
where
Quran.
does it say Prophet Muhammad in the Quran?
عبس وتولى أن جاءه الأعمى. This is a verse in the Quran talking about an incident happened to the Prophet ﷺ when he was talking to the elite in Quraysh, and a blind
Yes,
person came to him,
yes, yes.
and the Prophet.
The
Yeah,
blind
can I
man
finish?
came to the Prophet, right? And when
Yeah,
the blind man came to the Prophet, the Rasul greeted him and sat him next to him. The elites of Quraysh,
but
namely,
the surah doesn't say that. Abasa,
it
Abasa,
also
I
doesn't say
speak
the
Arabic,
Prophet.
my friend. Abasa means frowned in
Yeah,
Arabic,
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're saying that
right?
from the elites of the Quraysh, the Bani Umayyah, Uthman ibn Affan was there. He was part of the elites. He was the one who frowned and turned away from the blind man, not Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. This would contradict the Quran if you would think that Rasulullah would frown at a mu'min, blind man, a mu'min, somebody who believed, and he would turn away from him. That makes no sense to me. I'm sorry. So yeah, in our hadiths, it's
So,
clearly
so
Uthman that did that, not Rasulullah.
I mean, will Allah ignore the Prophet ﷺ and talk on all of this chapter, Abasa? If you read it all, it's specifically he's speaking to a specific man. He didn't mention his name, but always Allah, when he speak in the Quran, he speak, if there's no name, he speak to the Prophet ﷺ. He doesn't speak to somebody else other than the Prophet. Anyways, so most of the tafsir, they say this is come to the Prophet. So if the Prophet make that mistake, how is the Imam doesn't make mistakes?
Habiba, we don't have one tafsir that has that. I'm
You
sorry.
didn't have
We
you didn't have one
disagree.
tafsir that does that?
No, we don't. No,
Oh
we
wow.
don't. We
Okay.
don't have one hadith that agrees with that. All our imams say that it was Uthman ibn Affan. None of our imams say it was Rasulullah.
Okay. You answered my question. But
Yeah, no
yeah,
problem.
maybe
Yeah,
maybe you have your own tafsirs, but my tafsirs they said it's the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anyways, thank you guys.
yeah. But see, the thing is, it would contradict the Quran when it says, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wa alihi had the best akhlaq, right? The khulqun azim. Nobody had akhlaq better than him. Bro, my dad, Allah yarhamu, wouldn't do that. My dad had good manners. He wouldn't frown at a blind man, let alone Rasulullah. Like, I'm
So
sorry, but it doesn't
so
match.
Uthman was talking to the elite people, asking them to follow Islam, and a blind
La,
person come to.
la, 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 la. That's not what I'm saying. This was early on
Why is that
into the
so hard
Islam.
to believe? Why is that so
No,
hard to
no,
believe that it
no.
was?
That's not what happened.
It's
So
so easy for
So
you
what
to
happened?
believe
Tell
that
me.
Rasulullah frowned
you,
at a
you
blind
do
man, but
know
Uthman,
here.
astaghfirullah.
You do know early on within Islam, right? Within Islam, this happened. This was in Meccan days, but early Meccan days. There was barely any followers at that time. You know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that time, it was Rasulullah speaking to the elites of Bani Umayyah, of Quraysh, right?
Okay.
And the blind man came to him. Now, the blind man was the cousin of Khadija, correct?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the blind man.
Yeah, so he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah greeted him with love and sat him next to him. The blind man asked Rasulullah a question, but at that point in time, Rasulullah did not answer his question. You get it? But he continued speaking, but he did not frown or turn away. At that moment, the Qurayshi leaders, the Umayyads, the powerful ones, one of them was Uthman. He looked at the Prophet and he got disgusted that he sat a blind man with him. He put on his robe, frowned at the blind man, and turned away. That's why in the surah it starts third person, then it switches to second person for Rasulullah. That's what.
So, verse 6, it said, actually, verse 5 on the same chapter, it said, Amma man istaghna, as for the one who does not care, which is the elite. فَأَنْتَ لَهُ تَصَدَّى, you are anxious to pursue him. So clearly, he's from the beginning of the verse. He's speaking to the prophet. He's not if he speaks on the first two verses to Uthman, then he switch it to another person. Doesn't make sense, man. If you speak Arabic and you read it, Allah is speaking to the one person, right? But you're
You
explaining,
you want
saying
me
that
to
the
read
first
it?
one is
Do you
Uthman
want
and the
me to
second
read
one
it?
is the prophet.
Yeah. Do you want me to read it to you how we would understand it?
Yeah, read it. Read in Arabic.
Okay.
Do
I'm
you
gonna
speak
read it
Arabic?
first, but I'm gonna put the quotations how we would understand it. Okay.
Yeah.
He, this is Abasa wa Tawalla. He, a certain Umayyad chieftain, frowned and turned away because there came to him a blind man, Ibn Maktum. That was the blind man's name. And what would make you know but that perchance he, the blind man, might grow in purity, or become reminded so that the reminder should profit from him, the blind man. As for the Umayyad chieftain, who considers himself free from need and riches, to him do you address yourself? That part is about Rasulullah. Because
So the
how
first
we.
part about Uthman, the second part about the prophet, right?
Exactly. So,
So it
yeah.
doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense. I
Let,
mean,
let
if
me,
he
now, let
speak,
me explain to you how the story works. And maybe this will help you understand it. So, the Holy Prophet. Okay, so this is what happened. So, Rasulullah was speaking to these chieftains. I'm going to read it quote for quote from the Imam. While the Messenger of Allah was preaching to him, Abdullah ibn Maktum, who was the blind man and was the one who came to the companion, one of the early companions of the Prophet. He came to him. The Prophet received him with honor and pleasure and gave him the closest place next to him. However, the Prophet did not answer the question of the blind man immediately, since he was in the middle of the speech, and the Quraysh was poor. I'm sorry, and the guy was poor and blind. The chieftains of Quraysh looked down upon him, and they did not like the honor and respect that Rasulullah bestowed on him. They also did not like the presence of the blind man among themselves and his interrupting their conversation. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, uh, what was this? Interrupting the conversation with Rasulullah. I'm sorry. Finally, one of the wealthy chieftains, namely Uthman ibn Affan, frowned at Abdullah ibn Maktoum and turned his back to him. So that's what happened. That's how our story. That's how we understand.
yeah, that's your story, but the story doesn't make sense to me because
It
if you
makes
read the
sense
Arabic
for
and
Rasulullah.
if
It
you read
makes
the
sense for
Quran
Rasul.
Arabic, if you read the Quran Arabic, Allah will speak to one person. He will not switch to another person without letting you know. The Quran
No, it
is very
happens all
clear.
the time. It
You
happens
know.
all the time where he's speaking in third person, then he switches to second person. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. If you understand that way, then there is no point from my question.
No,
Yep.
no, it's very common in the Quranic language. The switch is very apparent. Like you'll see it, it's a pattern. He's right. Hassan is right about that. I'm not being biased. I'm telling you the
Okay. Thank you, guys.
No problem, sir. Hashtag free Yoko.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
John
Allah.
Lennon loves you, and I love you too, Yoko.
Bro, I just got so exhausted trying to explain that right now. I couldn't even read straight. I'm so exhausted. No, I'm not. I'm
He's
sick.
sick, bro.
I'm sick.
Poor thing.
I had a stomach virus. I'm
سلامتك
so.
سلامتك سلامتك ألف سلامة.
Yeah, I should have never answered that. I should have let somebody else answer.
No, you're fine. Assalamu alaikum to everyone who's joined the room and the
Wa alaikum salam. Hey guys, thank you guys. I'm gonna be heading out. Thank you guys.
I'll see
Assalamu
you
alaikum.
later. Hopefully, I'm better by Sunday. That way, I can moderate really.
Brother Kareem, I wrote
Inshallah.
something in the chat that you might have missed, Brother Kareem. You know, in the lead up to your debate, if you and your group would like any Quranic
My,
Arabic
my,
lessons,
my name is Habib.
um, I'm offering free Arabic lessons for you and Rocco and the whole crowd.
All right. My name is Habib though.
What did I say? Oh, I'm sorry. You're Habib, not Kareem. My
Inshallah.
apologies.
I'll take your free lessons and I'll teach you the how to identify different black people.
That was
I couldn't hear that.
good.
What did he say? I
What?
couldn't hear him. What did he say?
I said I'll take the free lessons and then I'll teach you how to identify different black people. That way you can be able to get me right this time, next time, inshallah.
No, no. I think the other brother was also called Brother Kareem, so I only looked at the first name. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're black. It's just your name is Brother Habib. The other guy has
Brother
his
Kareem
name Brother
black
Kareem.
too.
So that's.
Okay.
I'm
All right,
sorry.
well thank you guys. Thank you so much. All right,
I'm
assalamu
sorry.
alaikum.
What were you saying, Narjas?
Brother Kareem is black too. Are you talking about not Kareem? Like Brother Kareem?
No, no. I
Kareem.
understand. I was just rebutting the very, very childish, suggestion that I'm racist because I confused
No. I didn't say
Brother
you're
Hakim
racist. That's not
Well,
racist. That's not racist.
when you say that you'll take my Arabic lessons and then you'll teach me to identify black people because I'm confused you with someone else whose first name and is also brother on this app. I mean,
No,
it's
his
kind
name
of
is
a
not
low shot.
brother. It's not brother, by the way. It's not. It's
Well,
just Kareem.
I remember him. I remember him as Brother Kareem. So my bad.
It
You know, I've never really spoken to you before, so it's not the end of the world. You don't have to. You
it's
don't have
okay.
to sling low shots.
It's all
You know.
right.
No. I appreciate that, sis. I felt like you were doing a low shot as well, but it's okay.
No,
It's no
no,
biggie, but everything is cool.
mine is a very principled and consistent and very, very high shot. I genuinely sympathize with you and people like you. I genuinely recognize that it must be a serious struggle to try and read and appreciate